be down real bad, I can't look back cause I changed my way. Blessings coming down, I'm covered in gray. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, rain. When they see me, wait, cause the motion, 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 motion. Yeah, used to be down real bad. Used not count no cash. Used not pop no tags. Now 10% going in the basket. Part of the clay, not catches. Wisdom, I've been taking classes. The smudges, he wipe off the glasses. Get caught up with them, we not average. We got motion, we moving right past them. I got blessings, I ain't even asking. We been living, ain't nobody casual. While you talking, ain't nobody ask you. We gon' light up the world to the masses. We gon' spread out the word like some ashes. We gon' take what we need, leave the baggage. We gon' beat them with praying and fasting. Used to be down real bad, I can't look back cause I changed my way. Blessings coming down, I'm covered in gray. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, rain. When they see me, wait, cause the motion, 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 ayy, like the beach. Motion, we tryna get deep. Most of y'all can't even eat. My team, we been having a feast. Don't see what we got and then start to compare, cause we started with washing the feet. The same ones with me right now and this winning was with me while facing defeat. I'm neat. Who else you know with the aura and rapping like me? A seat. Learn how to build them a table and charge them a fee. Learn how to live out this walk that you claim that you living before you go make a CD. Learn how to fish on the deck before you start taking these people way out to the sea. I ain't never crossed no man. I'm from a place where you gotta be solid. You really can't build no house on sand. Two-tone truck with the off-road wheels. If you know, that's all of my plans. Who gon' step when the next step mud? I did it, got on my pants. You all fly but don't know how to land. Mission. Used to be down real bad, I can't look back cause I changed my way. Blessings coming down, I'm covered in gray. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, rain. When they see me, wait, cause the motion, 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 motion.
Hey, what up, Doe? You're back at What's Your F.L.O.E, and today's guest is Mission. Y'all seen, he just was on that mic and he did his thing. So yeah, just come on in, hang out with us. We're gonna have a conversation. He's gonna tell a little bit about who he is,
absolutely,
where he's from, and why he does what he does.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I'm honored
you so
to be
much
here.
For being here.
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration of behind the song that you just shared?
Motion is I really just heard the beat and then it just felt like real wavy. Like it felt like, like something I could just be like kind of free on. And when I think about motion, it's just kind of like just pushing you kind of, any way, and it's kind of free. But then also like a term now, it's like having motion, having like, clout, having, things behind it. And my thing is like, well, if I got Jesus, then I got the ultimate motion. You know what I'm saying? I got the ultimate clout and things like that. So that's what inspired it. And just in it, I was just, just kind of being myself and being free and kind of just talking about, where I am, what I'm saying, in my career and things like that. So, and, at this point, I feel like there is some motion behind it. So that was the inspiration behind it.
Okay. Yeah. So how did you get the name Mission?
Mission.
Yeah.
It's a funny story because I didn't like the name at first. I was in this group. It was called Under God Music, and I was 17 at the time. And my friend who was actually over it, he was like, "Man, you need a rap name." And I was like, "Nah, I'm just stick with Antonio or Tone or whatever. That's my name." And he was like, "Nah, you need a name." And then he was just like, "We're just gonna call you Mission." And I was like, "Bro, I don't like that. That's corny or whatever." But we had ended up doing a show, and he just told him to call me Mission. And I was like, "All right, whatever." So I just stuck with it. And then, I think as I just stuck with it,
started to align.
I just started to align, and then, I started to realize like how much I am always on a mission. I'm always, doing something, trying to figure something out, and it just stuck. And then I just found cool ways to say it, and people started to embrace it. So now, I don't even think people think it's weird anymore. They was like, "Oh, Mission." Yeah, it's just,
I found out what your name was. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
When you look at the type of work that you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're sharing your your music and everything. I mean, everything lines up.
It lines up.
It's
Yeah.
crazy how he was able to prophesize
Yeah.
who you were
Exactly.
before you even knew who you
Exactly.
were at that time.
Exactly.
Like he saw something
Yep.
at that time.
Shout out David. Yeah.
Did he say why he just gave you that name?
No, I asked him recently. It was about 3 years ago, and that's when he told me, he's like, bro, you just always on a mission, and I just felt like God was just saying that, and he's like, that's why he pushed the issue. Like he didn't allow me, because he was my big brother at the time. You know what I'm saying? So he was just like, nah, this is what you going. I was like, nah, I don't really. He's like, nah, okay.
Yeah.
Then, hey, get ready for mission. I'm like, what? He's like, go up there. And I was like, oh, man.
Like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, though.
Yeah,
It really does fit what you're doing, not only for yourself, but for everybody else.
For sure.
That's on a mission.
Absolutely.
What actually got you into, have you always been a gospel rapper, or
no.
were you a worldly rapper?
Yeah, I was short-lived. I was doing worldly. When I first started doing music, I was, doing worldly music. I was, I grew up in Mississippi and Sacramento. It's a long story. But so I literally went to high school, elementary, and middle school in both states, in Mississippi and California. So I first wrote my first rap in Mississippi, and it was when I was with, some of my homeboys. They had a little computer.
How old were you?
I was 15, maybe. Maybe 14, 15, somewhere around there. And but I've always loved music. I've just always used to overly listen to it. Hey man, did y'all catch this line that he said? And they was like, hey man, just listen to the music. And I'm like, nah, I'm dissecting it and studying it. And I wrote my first rap, and the reason why I knew I could do it was because my auntie, she's the most honest person. She will not hold her punches, and she don't care what you got to say about it. So she ended up hearing it. I didn't even let her hear it. She ended up hearing it, and I was on her porch. I was outside. I was waiting on my cousin to come out, and then she's like, oh, I heard that song that you did. And I was like, oh, she's finna rip me one. She was like, it was actually good. Okay, and then she went in the house. So when she said, I was like,
what?
Yeah, I was like, wow. And then, it started getting buzz around, around the city we were from. And
this was back in Mississippi?
This was back in Mississippi. So I just stuck with it, and I kept doing it. And then when I gave my life over to God, I was just like, I gotta do this for real, and really go after Him and really make a difference. And because words have power, and every time we spit these words out,
Proverbs 18:21.
The power is tongue. Yep. And so that's why I'm real careful on what I say, especially in the music, because music will last forever. And people will say it and repeat it over and over and over. Like, how many songs have we just said in our head thousands and thousands of times?
That reminds me of a conversation I had with a young lady today that I met, and we were talking about, she's still in the world of music. When she pulled up, I was bouncing. DJ Cummings, I don't know if you heard of him, but he's a dope DJ out in Atlanta.
Okay.
And he reminds me of the time when I was all into the worldly music of a DJ back in Detroit.
Okay.
But he is hella fire. And I was bumping that, and she was just like, who is that? Because she listens to the other stuff.
Yeah.
But like I was telling her, you realize what music does to you.
Yes.
Because I said, when I'm listening to this, I don't feel like cussing nobody out.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I don't feel stressed. I don't feel like I need to call that person that I don't even like anymore. You know what I'm saying? It just puts you in a totally different state of mind. And nowadays, the type of music that is playing on the radio and stuff like that, it's just so low vibrational.
Yeah. Yep. Even music in the early 2000s and stuff like that, they still have messages. I mean, we didn't agree with everything that they said, but there was some type of moral and standard, know. But now it's just all the standard. It's just you say whatever.
It's just a beat and whatever.
Whatever you want to say, it don't matter. Yeah. It's the most raunchy stuff.
It's crazy.
It's like, I'm like, y'all listen to this? This is, at least it had a message.
It's on regular radio.
Yeah, and they play it.
I couldn't get my Pandora or whatever on my phone to work. And I was like, I just listen to the radio.
Yeah.
And I thought I had it on XM satellite or something.
Yeah.
Because they were saying the words on the regular radio. I was like, wait a minute, what is this? So I had to get my phone to work. Because that made me feel a certain kind of way.
Absolutely.
There's a frequency in that.
For sure.
And I don't know. And she was she was like, well, who is that? You know, and I gave her the information.
Yeah.
I said, go ahead, listen to that.
Yeah.
Meditate on that.
Meditate on
Trust
that.
me, you're going to feel
Yep.
positive
Yep.
by the time you finish listening to
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah. And I said, that's what we need. You
Yep.
know, what really got you on the mission to go from the worldly music to, you know, gospel music?
Yeah, I think
and giving your life to
for
Christ.
sure. I think when I first came to Sacramento when I was 9 years old, and I met my best friend, Napier, still my best friend to this day. That was kind of the first time I was introduced to God. And, you know, we talked about Calvary. That's when I was introduced to Calvary. And, you know, coming from where I'm from, Calvary Christian Center, right. Coming where I'm from, it's like small town in, you know, in Mississippi. Like, my family probably the only family that wasn't going to church out there. Like, we weren't. Like,
I would think like back in the
back
day,
in
that's all
the
you see is y'all
but
in the little white church.
We weren't like my mom, my grandma, like, you know, they believed in God. They always said things, but like we weren't going to church every Sunday. So my first experience like of real church was out here, and so from that time to 16, I was back and forth from Mississippi. So I had like kind of a double life because out in Sacramento, I was going to church. I was, you know, learning things. I was going to youth ministry. And then when I go back to Mississippi, I was on the other side. You know what I'm saying? I'm hanging out with my cousins. Yeah, exactly. Double dutching, yeah. Hopscotching too, hopping everywhere. Yeah, yeah.
Like over here.
Yeah, I was hot and cold. But I think, you know, I had my first child at 17. Very young, and I think that's when I began to like take life serious. Just not having a dad, I was like, man, I don't want to make those same mistakes. So I started just diving into, you know, church more, into God more. I wasn't at an age where it's like, okay, Mom, I'm kind of on my own now. I'm 17, on my own, about to be 18. I just had my child, you know what I'm saying? So life for me is starting, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to be going back and forth to Mississippi no more. That's over with.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just kind of got thrusted into being a man and a father. And, you know, I started going to church more. And then as I began to learn more about God and began to, you know, understand my purpose and things like that, which took some time, you know, the music changed with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't say like, I didn't come in just like, hey, I need to make Christian music. It's just like, hey, this is my lifestyle. And I knew that I wanted to be an authentic person. Right. So my music should reflect, you know, who I am. Right. And that's how I became Christian hip hop. And, you know, just thinking about it, hearing all of the shoot 'em up, bang, bang. And once we were talking about the words having power, I didn't want my words, you know, because like I said, music is forever and it lasts. In people's minds, and you know, people. I still think of songs now in certain situations, so I wanted that to have a positive effect on people. And when they sing my lyrics, it's something that, you know, that's edifying, and it's something that, you know, they can, you know. And
then plus too, having a son, you know, and bringing him up on the other side of the fence. And kudos for you for stepping up and making a change in regards to realizing that you're a father now, and now you have to do something different in regards to your life, so you know your son can have a better life in regards to that. Because you know there's a lot of young men and women sometimes that they don't really step into that role, and they continue doing what they're doing, and that child is left behind. For sure. Do you like on your journey, do you talk to other like young brothers or you know, men that are kind of struggling with that and help them to get on that mission of being in the right
Absolutely. It's something very important to me. I, you know, because it happened for me. And, you know, like I said, I haven't had a father figure.
Right. Thank you
God,
for being a curse breaker.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But God always had a father, like, figure in my life that I could look up to. Pastor Damien, Pastor Godot, you know, Pastor Godot Jr., you know, he was my youth pastor. Yeah. So, you know, I've always had examples in front of me. So, you know, I want to give that back. And I always talk to young men, even my sons, like friends, like they'll come chop it up with me, like while we're at the games and things like that. And also have a studio in Del Paso Heights where kids can come and they can explore music. And, you know, we have those conversations and things like that. So it's something that's, you know, and even on my Instagram and my Facebook, I'm always responding back to people like, hey, man, I need you to pray for me. All right, cool, I'm going to pray for you right now. Because if I don't do it right now, I'm going to forget. Yeah. So just being open. I always say, like, if we Christians, man, we got to be people. People. If that makes sense.
Exactly.
A people person.
It does.
And so it's just like, I'm like, man, I'm your servant. I'm here to, whatever wisdom I can impart. And, I'm always getting wisdom from other people. So it's like, I'm being poured into, so I want to pour out as well.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Where's your mission going to now? Where's your journey? Like, what do you see in the future?
I'm currently like in a space, if I can be totally honest, where it's like I'm waiting on God to like tell me what's next. I've been doing music for a while. I'm 35 and I'll be 36 this year. Okay. And so I know I'm not going to be doing music forever, but I don't know.
Is that your flow?
I don't know.
Is that your passion?
It is my passion. It's not that I'm not gonna like. I'm sure I'll be around it in some capacity because my youngest daughter and my youngest son is like they're starting to get the ear. Like my youngest daughter, she's like, "This is what I want to do. I want to do music." Yeah. So I was like, "All right, maybe I'll be kind of coaching her." But then yesterday I was coming home and then I heard a beat playing in the garage and I heard my son in there rapping. And my youngest, and I'm like, so I opened the garage. I was like, oh, "You want to be a rapper?" He's like, "Nah, I was just listening to the beat." I was like, "Yeah, right. Yeah, right." So he, so I don't know in what capacity, but like, I do have my nonprofit, All You Know to Me Foundation. Okay. I hope to build on that. Like, we have everything established, but we're just trying to figure out exactly what we want to do and how we want to do it. So I know it's something around there. But I just don't know yet. Like, I know for right now, for the next couple of years, I'll be releasing as much music as possible and continuing doing concerts and things like that. But I'm really still trying to figure it out.
So you're kind of more looking like towards shaping and being in the lives of the youth.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I know. So I do know it'll be something with youth mentorship. Whether that's in music, whether that's just in life skills. Things like that, and then just kind of being here for my kids as they grow up and just being a strong support system for them, but also the foundation is for to be a strong support for everyone else. That's why everything we do is just all you know to me, which is Lord's will, not our will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I kind of picked up like, so your why is your children, your family.
Absolutely, it's definitely my family because. Like I grew up in a tight-knit family. Like we all stuck together. Like I've lived with all my cousins and all my aunties. Yeah, but it was so right. It was so dope. Everybody was together. Right there, yeah. So it's just like, when my kids turn 18, it's just like, I'm actually going to be doing more for you guys. Just so, just kind of help you guys not have to go through some of the stuff that I went through. Yeah. So, it's
and it's so easy if they just listen.
If they listen, yeah.
Because that's my whole thing when I try to tell my kids, I'm not going to tell you anything wrong. I'm trying to save you.
Yes.
I'm trying to help you. I was that age before you were there.
Yes.
I've gone through the things that you're going through.
Yep.
I have the answers. I have the wisdom.
Yep.
But Lord have mercy. They just want to go ahead and figure it out themselves, and then they come back and say, I wish you would have listened.
My daughter graduated in 26 days. She was my age. She's 17. Mm-hmm. So I was like, dang, you're doing way better than me, but you still don't know nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know them books. You're very smart, but like when it comes to this,
the street smarts and stuff
the street smarts, you need to listen. You need to listen.
Because look, been there, done that.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I think they see us where we are now.
Yes.
And don't realize where we've been before we got here. It's like we've always just been mom. And we've always been dad. And we don't know what we're talking about.
Exactly. And things are different now, Dad. Right. Like, no, it's not. It's the exact same. It's the exact same. It's just a new year. Exactly. I told they get mad when their friends like listen to my music or something like that because they try to hide it, but they always end up finding out. I don't push it on them. They end up finding out. So. And they get mad. I was like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not lame. You know what I'm saying? They act like I'm some old guy. But it's just, LeBron was saying it, like how we look up to LeBron. He said, when I go home, I'm just dad. Right. And I get that too. It's like when people see me in like music, and I say that humbly, they be like, oh, mission, woo, woo. But then when I go home, them kids don't care about none of that. They don't want to hear my music. They don't want to do none of that. So it's humbling for sure.
Like, just saying that too, like when you're out and about and somebody's like, "Oh, that's Mission."
Yeah.
They see you as a big star or something like that. How does that make you feel?
It's funny because I'm not a big star, and I know the reality of it. Yeah. But I don't try to, I don't want to downplay it, but I also want to make sure that, like, if somebody do come in contact with me, they have a good experience.
Exactly.
And they don't be like, oh, that dude's a jerk, and
Yeah,
he's supposed to be a Christian. Yeah,
That's the first thing they'll say too.
Exactly. So I always try to embrace it. If I'm honest in my head, I'm like, you kind of doing it too much, because I'm just like, it's not, I know you can make anything look good online, but I'm just like, it's not what you think. And a lot of these people online be having all these millions of followers, and they're just regular people, and they make people think that it's bigger than what they are. But I try to. It's weird for me. It's always going to be weird.
It is, because that happens to me. I'm a award-winning spoken word artist, and sometimes when I'm out and somebody say, "Hey, aren't you that poetry girl?" Or, "You're that poetic butterfly. I've seen you," and they want to take pictures. And stuff. That cracks me up. I said, okay, I'll take a picture, girl. Calm down.
Trust
me.
Yeah.
If you really, I'll just, I appreciate it, and then it also makes me feel good, because that what I do makes somebody else feel good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But sometimes it's hilarious to me. Like, and you just in your zone, and you out and about, and somebody just call you out, and they're so excited to see you. I'm like, oh, is this what it's like?
What it's like? Yeah. Yeah. I'm a super reserved person. Like, super laid back and chill. Like, I'm goofy and funny around my friends and stuff, people. But like, normally, like, I'm just chilling. Like, but so when that make me feel awkward.
What's your
for sure.
favorite pastime?
Playing basketball. Laura, just like watching Martin. Like, it's weird. Yeah, no, I really watch it religiously. Like, I fall asleep to it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And like, so now my son is like, he's 15, he's taller than me. So like, playing basketball with him and with my friend, like just talking crap to him and like you little, you know what I'm saying? So that's really, all I do. And then now I just figured out how much I love going to the gym. I've been working out like the last 2.5 months. Good. So, and it's a passion now.
Right.
So, that, and then eating too, which the gym and eating that don't really.
I had some food in there. I'm not on the carbs.
I can't do it right now. Man,
that's
you see,
what's up, though. I
just go back and look.
The obedience to yourself.
For sure. Yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah, go back and look at some of those pictures from maybe 3 months ago. You're gonna be like, ooh, boy was big, boy blew up.
240.
Woof.
And I got on the scale the other day. I'm not gonna say, but I ain't 240 no more. I'm almost past a certain threshold that I have, and I've been going to the gym too, and I just have a problem, I think, because I'm excited, I go, and I go, and I go, and then I'll skip a week.
Skip a whole week, yeah. See, that's my problem. It's like, I know myself, like, I can't cheat. Like, some people, I can have a cheat day. If I have a cheat day, the cheat day going to turn into a cheat month.
Right.
And then I'll be back to always. So I have to go every single day. Well, I take the weekends off, but like, I have to go.
You have to give your body at least.
You got to give it rest. Yeah. So I take Saturday and Sunday off. I chill, you know what I'm saying? And then Monday I'm back at it. Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get.
I need to grow up in that area.
It took a long time. I've never worked out in my life. Like, I played sports in high school, but I never was a gym guy. And none of that, but just recently it just clicked, and I just love it now. So
okay, well, let me take some of that click from you.
You can have it. You can have it.
On my journey. All right. So, what would you like to leave with the people? You have anything inspiring to say? Anything of encouragement?
Yeah, absolutely. I would just say, something I live by is keeping God first, and I say that not to be cliche, but to really understand it, because when I say all of you, none of me, it's really kind of getting into what Jesus was and how he is. When you think about him on the cross, it really was all of us and none of him in that moment.
Exactly.
And and obviously I'm coming from a Christian perspective of being Christ-like, and it's just like, all right, like the Bible's telling us to die to ourselves. Like, what does that really mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, man, we got to keep God first, because we'll start to understand that it's not about us all the time. And then, when you realize, like, you start serving other people and caring about other people, God always blesses you in return. So it's a win-win, because we think that, when we're doing so much for others or giving so much up, that, oh, well, what about me?
Yeah,
it's not about that. I'm gonna take care of you anyway. Exactly. So, that's what I want to leave people, was like, man, keep God first in life, and really, seek after him.
Do you have anything coming up?
Yes, I am releasing a song called Stay in about 2 weeks. I'm waiting on the master, and then I'm going to be doing a tour in December.
Is it local or is it going to be?
It'll be, I think we're going to do something in Sacramento, but we're still planning it. But it's kind of stuff that's kind of still in the process. So I'm going to be releasing a lot of music. So my next single will be in about 2 weeks. It's called Stay. And then I'll be doing a tour with Mike Teasy and Five. They're out in South Carolina and Texas.
Okay.
So we'll be coming together and doing that together.
All right. So if they want to get that information about your tour, how they can follow you, where they can get your music, all that,
Absolutely.
what's your social media handle?
Yep. So it is Mission is Music on everything. So that's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Just Mission is Music, and you'll find it. I'll be having updates on there, and got new merch dropping pretty soon. So. Yep, be on the lookout. We got a lot of stuff happening. We're in the planning stages.
Hey, it's that season.
Yes,
it's that
it
season
is.
to get into the flow of what you are supposed to do, because God is definitely blessing those who are working.
Yep. I love how you keep plugging flow. That's tight. You in the flow.
In the flow.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you coming and being our guest today and blessing the viewers.
Absolutely.
And I just pray that God continues to bless
Receive
your
it.
mission.
I receive
know
it,
that
yep.
He keeps His hand on your shoulder,
sure.
and that everything that you dream about, turns and it works in your favor.
I receive it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to the What's Your F.L.O.E show. And just go in peace, love, and light. And we'll see you again soon. Holla. Peace, love, and light, everybody. I am Poetic Butterfly, the host of What's Your F.L.O.E, the TV podcast show, where your flow is your purpose. When you walk in your purpose, you walk in your flow, your fearless liberation of expression. Because when you're in your flow, you have to be fearless in that. And a lot of times that helps liberate others to be fearless in their flow as well. So on this platform, we talk to artists, entrepreneurs, just extraordinary everyday people who have a story. So continue to stay tuned in for that inspiration and that courage, and follow us on all our social media accounts at What's Your F.L.O.E. That's F-L-O-E, and we'll see you soon. Peace.